And I barely do. A fantastic game here to watch if you're a fan of points. Chicago, 275-plus yards through the air, 275-plus yards on the ground. Only 10 teams to do that in NFL history, but knowing plenty of Chicago fans, it doesn't feel like that.
No.
What was the feel of this football game to you?
Well, you're up 41-27 with less than 5 minutes to go. You've scored to win the game, because what you know is the Cincinnati Bengals are going to need 2 touchdowns, which means Cincinnati Bengals are going to have to recover an onside kick. To that point, there had been 29 attempts in the 2025 NFL season. Twice has an onside kick been recovered this year. It's been so difficult to recover an onside kick that, in fact, the NFL wants to change the rules to help teams recover them even more. And then for the onside kick, the kick has to go 10 yards before the kick
Unless
team
you touch it.
Unless you touch it. The ball went 8 yards and the Bengals recovered. And so this is not a good feeling for the Chicago Bears. Special teams let them down. We just talked about onside. Missed a kick. Probably did some other bad things that we saw there. The defense obviously allowing 42 points. Not going to be happy about that. But this is a Bears team. I don't have to tell you, Joe. This is a Bears team that the last couple of years, they don't win this game.
No.
Last year, after that Washington game, there's no chance that they win this game. They give up the onside kick after it goes 8 yards. They are losing that game.
And how many times have we said that this season?
Several
Raider
times.
game, the Washington game, this game. They're finding themselves on the right side of these sorts of games.
I point directly to Ben Johnson and his influence.
Yeah.
And not just, he's in his bag with his offensive scheme and the plays and all the fun little throwbacks, right? We saw Tyson Bagent throw a pass to Caleb Williams earlier today. Well, instead, he is focused on the small things, on situational ball, on making sure that this is a true football team and not just a fantasy football team that I think a lot of people wrongly, erroneously prescribed to Ben Johnson when he got the job.
Williams, 20 of 34, missed some throws, but 283 touchdowns, no interceptions, and a receiving touchdown. I'm being told that we have some inside footage of this one when it went final. I'm not sure what we have on tap here.
I got your back. Musso. I got your back, Musso. These 2 guys over here like, man, here go Musso again.
That was like the DN drill. I was low shoulder.
Bend.
Yeah, you got great bend.
Good bend. Better bend than Abdul Carter right now.
Merely an unbiased arbiter of the truth here. What is the truth about these Chicago Bears? I know the coach is getting the most out of them right now, but there's so much to clean up. Pre-snap still sloppy. I haven't seen a Bears team score this many points in quite some time. That is the silver lining here. What do you choose to focus on?
The fact that this team is buying into the Ben Johnson plan. I mean, you look at Caleb Williams, he's processing information and playing from the line of scrimmage, which isn't his usual style of play. He's bought into that. Ben Johnson is trying to make him a quarterback that can identify fronts, the defense, coverage, get them in the right play. The guys around him on offense, we saw the performance from Colston Loveland. We've seen DJ Moore had a good day today.
Yeah.
The guys are buying in. Whenever they lose, again, after a performance like this where they won, they obviously didn't do a lot of things well. There's no finger pointing. There's no pouting. There's no letting the external factors that don't actually matter affecting you, whether it be the conversation about Caleb Williams and his nails and things of that nature. It doesn't matter to this football team. All they care about is buying into what Ben Johnson says. They've seen him have success somewhere else. They know that his plan works. They have bought in his players and said, if we follow this plan, we will be successful. Now, it might not be at the speed or at the clip that they're hoping for, but it's slowly and surely coming along. I don't want to be cliche. Rome was not built in one day.
And certainly so, and buy-in of the head coach, but moments like this that do create some buy-in to the quarterback as well. Not that there's any lingering doubt in that room, but plenty externally. What does this sort of throw, this sort of performance from Caleb do for that room?
The biggest thing, Caleb Williams is progressing week after week. And when I look at him and I look at how he's playing the position, the biggest difference from week 1 to right now, his feet everything is slowing down, right? I think earlier in the season, his feet were getting a little bit out to in front of his eyes, rushing through progressions. He's doing a good job out of the pocket, not making the kind of boneheaded throws that we saw earlier in the season, doing a good job protecting the ball and giving this offense a chance to score points, to make plays, and to win games. At the end of the day, that's all you can ask of Caleb Williams, right? Ben Johnson's doing a really good job putting him in a position to succeed.
Yeah.
What you had a bunch of guys catch passes today. You had 3 guys throw passes. Caleb Williams caught 2 of them. So Ben Johnson's starting to unlock a little bit of this offense that we've seen over the years past with him of the Detroit Lions.
But can I also say this? Him having that much confidence to call trick plays like that, to call a double pass from one quarterback to another, that shows that he trusts his team. He knows that they're bought in. He can trust them to call plays that are wrinkles, gadgets, are going to catch the defense off guard because he knows they're not going to turn the ball over. They're not going to put the ball in harm's way. They're going to execute the plan, which is what they they did today.
Belief, a two-way street, and we were feeling it both ways, coach to team, team to coach in this one. Parting thought here on the Cincinnati Bengals, because we're talking about buyers, we're talking about sellers, we're also talking about Trey Hendrickson again in a hat and a T-shirt. What's the latest there or elsewhere for Cincinnati?
Yeah, I would be very surprised if Trey Hendrickson ultimately gets dealt. I've been saying that for weeks, continue to say that. You're looking at a 3-6 Cincinnati Bengals team that still has hope, that still has belief that they can get this done, that they can still stay afloat until Joe Burrow comes back. They're not going to throw in the towel. Okay, the Bengals may trade a Logan Wilson, whom they benched, who was inactive today, also dealing with an injury. They may trade him away, okay? I get that part. They are not throwing in the towel on the season because if we recall, they stuck with Jake Browning much longer than they should have because they had misplaced optimism and faith in him. They will continue, whether you agree at home that they should or should not. They believe that they can still win this division. When you look at it, right, Pittsburgh at 5-3, they're only a couple games back, right? So if the Baltimore Ravens are still in this division, the Cincinnati Bengals are going to say to themselves and out loud, why not us? So I don't see any sort of fire sale. I don't see them being any sort of significant sellers insofar as our season's over with, take our good players. That's not happening.
1,071 total yards in this matchup between the Bears and the Bengals.
Song from Rams.
47-42, but they don't ask how, just how many. Another win here for the Chicago Bears. As for how many for Caleb, 2 passing touchdowns and a receiving touchdown in a game in Bears franchise history. The punky QB back in the fabled 85 season. And then I gotta say, a blind spot for me, 37. Caleb Williams gets it done here on Sunday against the Cincinnati Bengals. Offensively, it just seems stagnant for Green Bay. What's your takeaway from this one?
So, huge win for the Carolina Panthers. As someone who covered the Panthers for a while, who's from North Carolina, I'd need to focus on the Panthers, who there's always been somewhat of a rivalry between these teams when you look at how the Panthers were introduced to the NFL. So, Packers games have always meant a lot to Carolina. To go to Green Bay and get only the 3rd win in franchise history in the state of Wisconsin is a huge deal for Carolina. To do so with Bryce Young coming off that ankle sprain that kept him out of last week when they got absolutely boat raced by the Buffalo Bills with Andy Dalton at quarterback, to be able to come back and beat one of the better, if not one of the best teams in the NFL and really in control of that game, right? Ben, we're watching that. There was a bad pass in the end zone early by Bryce Young. Maybe it was impacted by the wind. We still don't really know.
We'll blame it on the wind.
But we'll blame it on the wind because we like Bryce, right?
We do.
But the Panthers, frankly, probably could have won this game without a game-winning field goal. So credit to Carolina, to Dave Canales. It does finally appear that they have turned the corner. Whether they finish above 500 or right around it, we know that things are trending upward in Carolina, and it has been the better part of a decade since you could say that in Charlotte.
They don't have this one in them in past years to go on the road and pull off this type of
Not
upset.
in Green Bay.
Unfortunately, Green Bay
was so bad, Mike Jackson didn't even want to catch the thing. That's how bad it was. So tongue-in-cheek, but all this to say, I don't think that the Green Bay Packers played down to their level of competition. I think us as analysts, us people in the media, we start to see a clickbait here, Micah Parsons, and all of a sudden we open our eyes and say, that's it. That was the one move that they needed to make in order to be Super Bowl contenders. When really, there's a lot of things that have to happen. Jordan Love has to get better as a passer. Your pass catchers have to get better at catching the ball. You need to be able to have a harmonious balance between the run game that is great with Josh Jacobs and the pass game as well. And right now, the Packers don't have it.
Ben, when that second contract comes along and you're playing for 50, 55, wherever it may be, we stop using the word development. Where does Jordan Love still need to develop as a passer?
You're looking at the wrong guy when you're talking about what do we need to do when we make $50 million. That's the furthest thing away from that possible in my career. But I just want to highlight earlier in the season, right? It was the Browns game. It was the interception late at the game that you felt like the Packers were just letting some of these teams hang in the game. Today was the exact same thing. Damian, you highlighted the drop interception in the end zone. I want to go to the interception earlier in the game where he tried to throw a post to Christian Watson. There were 3 guys down there. The safety was the one that ended up, picking it off. But for Jordan Love, you get to a second contract. You've played enough ball. It's time for him to start showing that he can play like a veteran in this offense. And look, on the other side of the ball, this defense today, there's so much invested on this side of the ball. They go out, get Micah Parsons, Rashawn Gary. That front 7 is so stout. They lit up 160 yards on the ground today to Rico Dowdle in this Panthers rushing attack. So easier said than done, but I think the Packers, there's more than one area where they need to kind of look and figure this thing out.
Musa, if you don't mind, I'd like to ask the table a question.
Please.
I mean, I'm the new guy here, so I want to mix
Ask
it up
away,
a little
please.
bit. Has Jordan Love at any point since signing that second contract, is there any play in your mind, or your mind that says that's why they paid him that money?
I will say we were sitting at this desk on Sunday night last week, and he went toe-to-toe with Aaron Rodgers and that Steelers defense and won the game and played really well. And you could argue they won because of him. So talking about that signature moment, that Heisman moment, if you will.
To Damian's point, though, the box score tells a different story than some of those throws, and you even pointed that out. The Tucker Kraft, that could have been an OPI.
That's right.
The jump ball down the field.
That's right.
He's leaving something to be desired.
Yeah, sure. And all that's fair. And in this game, Tucker Kraft went out with, I think, a knee. Matthew Golden went out. And so they just got Christian Watson back. Those are two major injuries, especially Tucker Kraft, we're going to have to keep an eye on moving forward.
We'll see if Jordan Love can get it rounded into form. Green Bay's going to have opportunities. And today, when you look back at the win-loss, it's an opportunity squandered at the top of that NFC North. Rico Dowdle taking advantage of his opportunities. As a starter, 25 totes per